Now time to get underway with race 9 out of 15 today here at Circuit du Val d'Argenton. It's senior Rotax, Heat 4, Groups B versus D in action. Let's take you through the starting grid. On pole position, it's going to be the reigning defending champion, Sean Butcher, the 301 from the United Kingdom. He'll have the Netherlands' Devian Horst in the 345 alongside him. It's Dion van Verven and Kai Gillerts on row number 2. Gillerts picking up Heat 2's victory earlier on today. Ethan Jeff Hall will be joined by Elia Papacena on row 3, with Matthew Higgins joined by Denmark's Lotus Tveen on row 4. And rounding out the top 10, it's two French drivers in the form of Nolan Lemeret and Paul Fauquemin. Lilian Richard and Lucas Schlegel, row 6. Row 7, Mitch Haynert and Sam Bergstein, with Magic Himera and Niki Gauci completing the top 8 rows. Rounding out the top 20, from Hungary, Zsombor Kovacs. From France, Mathis Carnejac. Also from France, Jules Roussel. And the sole Japanese driver here this weekend, Shuma Tazaki in the 334. Completing the 26-strong grid, it's Jonathan Devaux, Marcel Lecuy, Gustav Usakovs, Arthur Robin, and then Kamal Murad and Zach Scowler. So we've had two different winners today. 2 race wins for Mark Kimber, 1 for Kai Gillerts, who starts on the outside of row number 2 in this particular occasion. Could we see a different winner join the list here in Western France in the wonderful Saturday afternoon sunshine? Air temperature now has reached 25 degrees Celsius and is still set to climb over the course of the next few hours. So the red lights are on the gantry, 10 minutes on the timer, plus an additional lap. It's going to be down to Butcher and Horst on the front row to control the rolling start. They are in formation, primed and ready, out of the final corner, into the tram lines. Lights are out first time, we're underway and racing. Good start by the pole sitter. Devian Horst is trying to hang it around the outside, still to get through, but Dion van Verven makes his way through. Devian Horst loses a bunch full of positions. And might have someone trying to go around the outside of him through turn number 3. That was the case. And that particular driver has initiated the switchback. So Butcher gets the perfect start at the front end of the field. Dion van Verven had a great start. So did Ethan Jeff Hall. And they round out the top 3 positions. Fourth, it's the 375 of the returnee to Dan Holland Racing, Matty Higgins. So he rounds out the top 4 at the moment as they come through Dunlop once for the first time of asking. We might have Nolan Lemeret close on his rear bumper, which is the case, the 905. Up into 5th position. Paul Fauquemin up to 6th, ahead of Kai Gillerts. Elia Papacena, Lilian Richard round out the top 9. Overtake occurring. Mitch Haynert looking to get up the inside. That was possibly on one of the Sodi carts. That was maybe Mathis Carnejac or maybe Lucas Schlegel, because they were battling for position. Someone's gone off big time. That was Sam Bergstein coming out of turn number 6. All 4 wheels onto the grass, kicking up the dust underneath it. And more dramas. One driver very, very sideways. That was Carnejac, sideways through the piff-paff chicane and still managed to hold on to it. Nearly 3 abreast coming out of Dunlop. But Sean Butcher has a slender lead of 3.5 tenths of a second, ahead of Dion van Verven from the Netherlands. Then it's Ethan Jeff Hall, Matthew Higgins, Nolan Lemeret, Paul Fauquemin, Kai Gillerts, Elia Papacena, but there's going to be a change. And that was Lemeret up the inside of Higgins through turn number 4. Higgins is going to counter-attack straight away. Through on the inside. Is that going to allow Fauquemin in? Yep, Lemeret's run wide, and that's also allowed through the 374 of Kai Gillerts in the meantime. So 1 run out wide cost Nolan Lemeret 3 positions rather quickly. 2.5 minutes completed of this race. And there are still battles for position. Looks like Lilian Richard trying to close in on Elia Papacena. And there is some jockeying for position down the start-finish straight. They are hurtling at over 110 kilometers an hour, heading into the braking zone into turn 2 at Clubhouse. Papacena goes defensive and is battling away for 8th place. Onto the back straight away again. Top 3 have broken away. Black and white warning flag is being shown to Elia Papacena. He's got the 384 of Lilian Richard up the inside. And there goes Devin Rost through on the Italian as well. Rost is off the circuit and trying to get through. That's Magic Chimera. Magic Chimera, who's on a wing and a prayer this weekend. He has been through his return to European competition since he returned to the Euro Trophy back at Karting Genk. We've had a couple of carts involved, one of which is the 310 Nicky Gauci. And I think another one was the 923 of Jonathan Devaux. And that would have been with Kamal Mrad. And they have dropped all the way down to the back part of the field. Meantime, Ethan Jeff Hall has gotten through on Dion van Verven in the 377 for second position. But Sean Butcher's lead looks to be more than 5.5 tenths of a second as they make their way through into the infield. Still under 6 minutes to go, and the action has been very fast and very plentiful in this 4th out of 6 senior Rotax heat here at Val d'Argenton. There's more attempts for manoeuvres being made through Dunlop once again. Butcher's lead is now 8.6 tenths of a second. For Quemin now is up into 4th place, and along with him is going Kai Rilletz in the 374. A bit further back, there's some good battling. That is involving Zombor Kovac, amongst others, along with the 359 of Gustav Zusakovs. And that is with Lukas Schlegel in the 362 from Austria. Unfortunately, Jonathan Devaux and Kamal Mrad have retired their carts respectively. There's up the inside of Mitch Haynert. That was Jules Roussel running on the 308 Sodi kart chassis. Butcher is calmly extended his lead. He's doing exactly what Kimber did in the previous heat. He put in the fastest lap, but then that's been taken away courtesy of Damien Rost, who's running in 9th behind Lilian Richard in the 384. Who's right up with Nolan Lemeray heading into the back straight. Ethan Jeff Hall, Dion van Verven and Paul Forquemin have all put in their personal best laps of this race so far. But with 60% of the time elapsed, there's still more to come, I fear. But in a good way, of course, in the fact of the racecraft that the drivers have been showing in order to facilitate overtakes. Some have gone very, very well, others haven't. But Magic Chimera is having a bit of a storming drive, but however, there has been a little bit of a contretemps between the likes of Nolan Lemeray and the number 384 of Lilian Richard, because through on them has gone Devin Rost in the 345 from the Netherlands. Going down the back straight away, and Lemeray is trying to get through on Richard, who makes a slight mistake. The back end steps out to the left-hand side. Magic Chimera fancies an opportunity to get through on turn 7, but not quite. He's got Elia Papacena with him for close company. Papacena bumps over the curbs through the entry point of the Piff Paff chicane at turn 9. Sean Butcher's now extended his lead over Ethan Jeff Hall to just under 1.1 seconds. So we still, well, Shuma Tazaki has dropped down to 24th position. I've just seen Nicky Gauci cross the start-finish line. It might be the fact that Shuma Tazaki has had another drama in a second successive heat for the Japanese driver. But the real main focus is on those behind Dion van Verven. So you've got Paul Volkwemmen just leading a battle between himself and Kaya Hilux. They've got a gap between themselves and Matthew Higgins. Tazaki is in pit lane, I'm afraid, on lap number 8 of the race. Just under 2 minutes to go. And still the battle between Nolan Lemeray and Lilian Richard carries on. Sam Bergstein, despite having that unfortunate off-track excursion coming out of turn number 6, is now trying to make some moves up the order. Mitch Haynert has got himself in front of Elia Papacena. So has Jules Roussel in the 3:08 from France. So Papacena drops down to 13th position. As I think, well, Lilian Richard has made his way up into 9th. As Nolan Lemeray's dropped to 10th position, was right on the back bumper of the 909. And it's getting a bit feisty out there because I've just spotted Magic Chimera has just dropped a few positions. Maybe make that 2, I would say probably 2 at a push. Magic, 19 years of age, based out of Reading these days. Has been competing in karting for quite a long time, particularly in the United Kingdom. Has Polish heritage as well to boot. As there goes Papacena up the inside and gets through on Hamera. There is Lotus Tveen and Zombor Kovac just behind them. As Devian Horst has managed to get through on Matthew Higgins. That was for 6th position. Timer has hit 0 as our leader makes his way through turns 5 and 6 for the penultimate time, lap 12 out of 13. And Butcher, having the advantage of pole position, has not squandered that advantage at all. He's just comfortably built up a gap that he can continue to maintain over the course of this race. And the last lap board is out. Butcher goes into clubhouse for the final time. Nearly 1.1 seconds up the road from Ethan Jeff Hall. So far today, 2 different winners from 3 different races. We're going to make it 3 from 4 very, very shortly as Butcher makes his way towards the chicane at Piff Puff for the 13th and final time. And the 301 from KR Sport, based out of London, out of the final corner. Butcher picks up the victory in heat number 4 ahead of Ethan Jeff Hall. Great job by Dion van Verven in the 377 to take 3rd. Paul Volkwemmen rounds out the top 4 ahead of Kai Gielert, our Heat 2 winner from earlier on today. Devian Hurst rounds out the top 6 ahead of Matthew Higgins, with Lilian Richard, Nolan Lemeray and Mitch Haynert rounding out the top 10 positions. Jules Roussel was 11th ahead of Elia Papacena, with Lotus Tveen, Zombor Kovac and Magic Hamera rounding out the top 15. Arthur Robin, Mathis Carnejac, Lukas Schlegel, Gustav Usakovs, and Zach Scala rounding out the top 20. Sam Bergstein, Marcel Lequi, and Niki Gauchi rounding out the 23 that finished all 13 laps of racing. And an unfortunate second DNF in a row for Shuma Tazaki from Japan. Kamal Murad and Jonathan Deville, through an earlier accident on lap 4, would retire from the race.